Hi folks, and welcome to week number 5. So this week we've got some readings. We've got a reading discussion that should again complete those and start those by Thursday. And by Monday, I want you to complete the crash course in rhetorical analysis part 2, and then we're going to talk about the Essay 2 assignment, and I want you to complete, choose a personal essay for Essay 2 and complete the rhetorical analysis worksheet that we've got here. We're going to use that in lieu of a proposal. Okay, so we did a proposal for Essay 1. The worksheet's going to sort of do some of that work for us this time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the specifics of this. So readings. We've got 3 personal essays here, Do It Yourself, Reflections from a Token Black Friend, and Nora Ephron's A Few Words About Breasts. And then 3 very short, these are like less than a page, they're just kind of like a chunky paragraph about persona, tone, and voice in writing. And there's a discussion here that's going to ask you to talk about the use of these things in, of course, these essays. So that's our reading and our discussion for this week. And just to give you sort of some a frame of reference, we're going to do a couple discussions through Unit 3, and then sort of the end of Unit 3 and Unit 4 are really going to be about you guys working on your own writing. So we'll be doing less discussions at that point and more sort of writing workshop sorts of activities, just so you have an idea as to where we're going. Then we've got the Essay 2 assignment, okay? I want you to look at that before we get into the crash course in rhetorical analysis, and there's a very good reason for that. The crash course in rhetorical analysis really kind of talks about rhetorical analysis from a general perspective, and it's that general perspective that's going to help you sort of start to think about how we move forward in Essay 2. So we'll take a look at Essay 2 here. So we've spent a lot of time doing, we're going to spend a lot of time, doing rhetorical analysis and engaging in developing rhetoric of our own. So this is the first step in the process. We're going to look at the rhetoric used by an author of an article, in this case, a personal essay. Okay, so to start, I want you to choose one of the personal essays we've read over the past couple weeks here, or you can head over to Narratively, and I'll put a link up for that, which is a repository of longish narratives, okay, like the ones we've read so far. And that's where I found a handful of the ones we've looked at here. There's a search box, so you can look for personal essays on a topic that you're interested in. Just make sure you avoid fiction for right now. Find one and read it, take notes on it, write a summary of it, okay? From here, your goal is to do a complete rhetorical analysis on that personal essay. The goal of rhetorical analysis, and we will see this in the crash course on rhetorical analysis part 2, is to really answer the question, how did the author create this in order to best reach their audience? That's the question we want to answer in this essay. We might be able to answer the question, did they do were they effective or not, and why? But the real question here is, how is this put together in such a way that it best reach their audience, okay? So some things to consider, some sorts of questions we might ask in the midst of working on this. Who do we suppose is the intended audience here? Who would read this narrative? Why? What appeals does the author use? What tools does the author use? And why might those appeals and tools be effective? And is it possible those tools might not have been effective as the author would have hoped? Why that, okay? Really our question here is what did they do to try to make this effective? And if you can answer the question, was it effective? All right, so that's our Essay 2 assignment. Please, if you've got questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than willing to chat with you some more about it. Now, crash course in rhetorical analysis, we've got, again, a few more readings. These 3 readings right here, all out of writing comments. They're all relatively short, but they sort of talk about what rhetoric is and what rhetorical analysis is from sort of the broad perspective. Last week, we did some of the more specific chunks of it, and now I'm going to want to step back and think about, well, sort of the why. And then, of course, the how. And what we've got here for this week, again, I said instead of a proposal, we will put together a rhetorical analysis worksheet here. I want to pull this up. This is just a Word document. So it's just a Word document, and you can download this. So all Word documents in D2L, you just come down here and click download right here. You can download it, open it. Even if you have a Chromebook, it should open up and convert it to a Google Doc for you. Now, this is based upon the template that is in Writing Commons, okay? And they actually create this for things for you to be thinking about as you are writing, as you are creating rhetoric. But I want to turn around and use this template to think about ways in which we might be able to use this to analyze another author's work. So what we want to think about here is all of these, everything that's blue is linked back to our writing textbook. So if you're not sure what context, occasion, exigency, and context means, click the link and it will actually take you back to our textbook, and it will show you that, okay? What's the occasion for this communication? And then you just put your notes here wherever it's read. From the perspective of the publisher, what are the purposes of this document? So let's think about where this document was originally published. Why are they publishing it? Okay? Publishers have different reasons for publishing things from authors. Okay? From the perspective of the author, what are the purposes of that document? From the perspective of the audience, why would an audience member come to it? What would their goal be? Why would they come to this and read it? Obviously, you guys got assigned it for class, but if we were not assigned it for class, in what context would someone come to it? And we've got questions again here about audience, about biases, message and medium. What do we need to know? Constraints and limitations. I want you to fill in everywhere there's red as much as possible. I want to see that you've done some thinking here about the personal essay that you're going to use for Essay 2, and that you've thought about how we might look at this piece. And not just how we might look at it, but what the sort of context here is. What do we know about the audience? What do we know about the medium? What do we know about the culture of the person, possibly? Okay, these sorts of things. So all of this is sort of discussed in your crash course for Rhetorical Analysis Part 2, and this is a template from that I want you to be working on for Essay 2. All right, so we're back to week 5 right at the beginning here. Again, so choose one of the personal essays we've read, and use that to complete this rhetorical analysis worksheet. And that'll sort of serve as your proposal for Essay 2. I'm going to be able to give you some feedback on that worksheet and sort of give you some guidelines as to where we might think about taking this in terms of an essay, which will start next week. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am here to help.